Let me ask you a question. How many projects that you have in your head that you haven't even got started on yet? Better yet, how many projects do you have that you have started and they are incomplete to this day because you just let them fall by the wayside? I'll give you a moment to count them up. Enough time? Okay, so now that we're accepting the fact that we're quitters, let's get into why so we can get about that shit. So today we're going to get to the bottom of why you have so many great ideas in your head that you have not given to the world, why you start projects and then never finish them, and how to be the person who not only talks that talk, but walks that walk. If you're new here, hi, my name is Love Spell, a queen with the pen. And on this channel, I upload a bi-weekly podcast that goes into various subjects like shadow work, toxic behavior, and manifestation. In the meantime, in between time, I'll also upload videos that go into how to set goals for yourself, how to change your vibrational energy, and how to vibe high and stay there. If this seems like something that you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and ring that bell. We always stir up the pot on here. Y'all ready or not? The one and only reason why you have so many projects in your head that you have not brought out or have not given to the world is because of fear. I mean, you can name it all kinds of things, but the truth about it is it's fear. Most people say that they haven't started on a certain project because they're not ready. They don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have this or whatever. And a lot of, if you go on anybody's YouTube, it talks about starting a YouTube or starting a business or starting anything. The first thing that they tell you is you cannot wait till you're perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. And even if someone has all of these things, lighting, camera, blase, and they have this wonderful project, they didn't start off that way. If you go to their older videos, if some of them will actually leave them up, then you will see that their lighting was shitty, their camera was shitty, and they just pushed it out anyway. And as they grew along, as they came along, they got better. Fighting the fear is the main thing that holds you back with anything. There's also something called Imposter Syndrome. This is where you don't really believe that you have the ability or the capability of offering a good service or offering a good, project to a person. So in your head, your ideas might be great. It might be something that you think that people would love. But when it comes time to actually put it out there, you feel like it's not you. You are not the person that's qualified in order to hand out this information, in order to, do this project. It's someone else is probably more qualified to do what your idea is about. And the truth of the matter is, it's your idea. It's your project. It's you. It can only be you. It's you. I'll say it again. So it's you. It's you. It can only be you. It's your project. It's your idea. It's your things that you need to bring to fruition. Nobody else can do it better than you. And you have to believe that wholeheartedly. There's also something else. It's where you fear negative feedback. People are always going to have something negative to say, no matter how perfect the project is, no matter how perfect your idea is, no matter how much money you make, no matter what you do. If you do it to the utmost degree, there'll be somebody who'll say that you didn't do it good enough. So fear of negative comments is a fear of the inevitable. And you have to get past that in order to know that you have to push past your fear and everybody else's fear. Because all it is a projection of how that person's failures are going for them put onto you. They might have wanted to do the project that you're doing, something similar to it, something close to it. And they'll go ahead and critique yours because, hell, they're not doing theirs. Well, see, that's why I wouldn't have did that because, yeah, look at how she looked. It looked funny and she ain't got the lighting and she ain't got this and she ain't got that or whatever, but they don't have it at all. They didn't try at all. You need to let failure fail you, not the fear of. So again, the first thing you need to work on in order to make sure that your projects go off without a hitch, in order to be the person that walks the walk and talks the talk, is to start walking. So what about those projects you start but you don't finish? Well, one of the main reasons why that happens is because of laziness. I mean, honestly, you realize that the project that you were hoping to start actually takes work. It seems oxymoronic, but it's true. What it is that you have a regular life. It's pretty mundane, but it's something that you have to do. Things like going to work to actually make the money you need to survive, or taking care of your children, taking care of your family members, husbands, mother, brother, cousin, whatever the case may be. But you have things that are already staples in your life, as far as maybe some of them are burdens and some of them are projects that cannot be changed. They do not falter. And the thing is that it takes up a lot of your energy and time. So a project is something extracurricular that may bring you money in the future, but not at this very moment. So when you start a project, ideally, you see what's going to happen in the future, but not really. You're not 100% sure. You only know ideally that it's a possibility. When you start the project, you're all gung-ho and you have all this energetic, push towards it, because it is a great idea, because it came from your intuition, because you feel like it could go somewhere in life. But when the work sets in and there's no gratification immediately, it taxes you just as much as a project that or something that you do in your life that is gaining monetary abundance, or helping with your life, or taking care of a family member or relative. It's you having to set aside time that may take out of your sleep. It may take out of your relaxation. It may take from some other avenue in your life in order to get it done. And are you really willing to do that? Most of the time, the answer is no. So you have to want it enough to give something else up. You may also underestimate how much work is involved in the project that you're trying to bring about. Some things look easier than they are. I'll say this. I'm a new YouTuber right now. And I started my podcast months before, and my podcast is doing pretty well, I will say so myself. But YouTube is a whole nother monster. And for me right now, while I'm talking to you, this is a project. Right now, I am sitting up at 1 o'clock in the morning, after being at work for the last 9 hours, cranking out this video. Why am I doing that? Because I have to make this project something of value, just as going to work was something of value. If I was scheduled to work till 1 in the morning, then I'd be there, right? So I have to treat it the same if I want the same kinds of results. That is where you turn a project or a hobby into a career. And you can't get there unless you put forth the same amount of effort. This is where it stops being a hobby. It stops being a project. And it turns into a business. And that is what I'm searching for. That is what I'm on the go for. So in order for my YouTube channel not to be something that falls by the wayside, I have to stay up till 1 in the morning and record my videos. The last thing that makes a project get started but you don't finish it is not getting immediate gratification. We live in a society of immediate gratification. I mean, everything we want to be praised, honored, and feel good right off the bat. If we don't see the finish line right here, then it's too much work. No, I'm not doing all of that. Or whatever. We've become accustomed to that. It's so much so that when I was looking at a documentary on Facebook, and they were saying that every single portion of Facebook is centered around giving people that immediate gratification. So when you pull down on your screen and it pops up a new post, they implemented that on purpose so that you can get that immediate gratification feeling from just swiping down to see if there's anything new, even if you've been scrolling for hours. Insane, right? But it's really well thought out. So you have to know this, because you have to fight this in order to see something through in the long run. Most things that are fruitful do not bear fruit as soon as you plant the seed. I mean, absolutely nothing almost bears fruit. You can't even make a baby immediately if we want to go there. But I'm just saying, nothing you plant today will give you victory and success by tomorrow. It's rare. And usually when something like that happens, like when people go viral or whatever, that is because of either one, some tragedy. That's not how I want to gain my success. I'm sorry. It's through some kind of tragedy, turmoil, or heartache or pain. Or it's usually through some joke is on you situation where something happened to you that was so hilariously funny or whatever. And every once in a while, somebody will get immediately famous off of one little project they do. That is the equivalent to being a NFL player. It's the equivalent to, being America's next top model or being an American Idol or whatever. For the most part, most human beings will have to put in a certain amount of work to get to a certain stage in life or in any project. Some people will be able to put in more or less work and get certain levels of success depending on what's going on with them in the world, their path rather, or whatever. And that's something you can work out here and there, but for the most part, you have to plant a seed. You have to water it. You have to make sure the sun shines on it. You have to look after it. And then eventually that garden will grow. But you cannot plant the seed, not see the growth, and say, you know what, forget it. Just throw it all the way. That is what we do. And that is why you have so many startup projects that you did not finish. So let's talk about how we can actually get these projects up, out, so we can walk that walk while we talk the talk. So when you want to walk the walk and talk your talk at the same time, there's a couple of things you're going to do. I'm going to list 5 items that'll push you in a direction to make sure at least that when you start a project, it ends. I can't guarantee that it'll end with the success and victory that you're looking for, because I'm not you, I'm not your path, and I don't know your projects. But once you start setting goals, making accomplishments, finishing the project, I promise you, when you get done with these things, you're going to see some success internally and possibly monetarily. First thing you need to do is pick what you want to do and be specific, be detailed, put on paper what you really have envisioned. So for example, let's say you want to start a hair care line. So be like, I want to start a hair care line that, has these type of products, shampoo, conditioner, this. I want it to smell like this. I want it to look like this. I want it to feel like this. And I want to market to this type of girl. Put down everything that you can think of, how you want it to feel, how you imagine it, everything, like your whole idea. Just lay it out on paper, exactly how you envision it. Number 2, this is extremely important. Set a launch date. This changed the game for me, because what ends up happening when you have an idea is you'll say like, I want to do this. You might be very specific. This is me. I'm very specific. Say it right first. Specific. Black folks, right? On what I want. I can envision it. I can smell it. I can feel it. I can even imagine the customers coming to the store to buy it and me talking to them about my project, my product, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I will procrastinate on actually starting to physically bust moves because there's no sense of urgency. So in my head, I'm going to get started. But then the question is when? Setting a launch date for me was a game changer, because now I have a sense of urgency. If I don't get started by this date, then I won't make my launch date. If I don't do it, then I won't make my launch date. So everything is about this launch date. And it has to be an immovable launch date. Immovable. I'm starting whether I have this, that, or the third, no matter what. On this date, I'm pushing something out. Now, do I want to push out raggedy nonsense? No, I do not. You know what I'm saying? So launch date is this date. Push it out. Immovable launch date. That's number 2. Number 3, do your research. And let's be clear, other people's opinions and feelings is not research. Please do not use common knowledge as something to provide you information on how to move forward. Yes, people are good at offering information, feedback on how it feels. Like if you have products that, like for the hair care products, okay, if you create a product and you want to test it on people, that's great. That's fine. But how to start up a hair care project, a hair care line, if you're not talking to someone who specifically has started a hair care line, do not use their tactics. And let's be clear too, even with someone who specifically started a hair care line, their hair care line is not yours. They might be someone who's all organic and you're just selling, raw, or you're selling something that smells good, or who knows, but your products are never going to be exactly like the next person's products. Your packaging is not going to be the same. Your marketing is not going to be the same. The way you feel, the way you think, it's your path, it's your project, it's your product, it's your business. It's going to be quite different no matter how much you try from the next person. So the way they launched theirs, the way they got started with theirs, the way the direction they were moving in, how they've made their own mistakes, of which are going to be different from yours. And so therefore you can take some people's feedback a little bit, but know that everybody's opinion, everybody's ideology is not going to help you push through your project. When you do your research, you need to get factual information about who is your market. How much do they sell? What do they like? What packaging is appealing to that person or that type of person? Those things are what really matters. People's opinions go as far as themselves. I have never sat down next to someone and had the exact same opinion about everything as the person next to me. I have been in the store with someone who is completely similar to me, and I have loved the product that person hated. Know that people's opinions are just that. And believe me, they're going to throw them at you no matter if you ask or not. Do your research, but don't also get stuck in a rabbit hole of research. I've had that problem too. I call it the career student. Someone who obtains so much knowledge and they got to learn this. And now I need to figure this out. And I need to figure that out before I start this. And remember the immovable launch date. You'll be researching and haven't busted any moves in any direction because you're still learning how to be in this business. So do your research. Be very detailed about it. But make sure you keep your launch date in mind and make sure that you're getting factual information and not people's opinions. Number 4, push past the roadblocks and the hiccups. This is detrimental. Number 2 was one of the most important, but number 4 is that make or break moment. Usually what happens is when you're starting your project and you might get some momentum, you'll gain momentum. And you'll be pushing things out. Boom, boom, boom. You will run across so many setbacks. From little things to massive things. You have to push through them. Because setbacks and roadblocks are the main things that knock a project off its hinges. That'll end a project. That'll create so much turmoil that you'll just give up and fall apart in the middle of something. You have to not allow roadblocks to get in your way. Being unknowledgeable about going into a situation is always going to have some hiccups and things that you didn't know, stuff that's going to stop you. Now, I'll say this. Yes, you have an immovable launch date, right? If you come across a roadblock or a hiccup that's so heavy that it will move your launch date, that's fine. This is the moment in time where you have to have enough business sense. You have to have enough fire in your behind to get this done that you can move your launch date to accommodate the hiccup, but not lose your project, your business, your idea altogether because of a hiccup. This is what turns you from practicing a hobby, falling apart at every little mistake or hiccup, and into being somebody who actually walks the walk as they talk the talk. That will be your breaking moment. So remember, push past roadblocks, move things out of the way, and keep going. That is the only way that you'll be able to see a project through to the end. Speaking of seeing it through the end, number 5, see it through the end. Seriously, sometimes you'll get into a project and you'll have the idea that it's going to do this or it's going to do that, or I'm sure this is going to make me this, right? And it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a flop. You've done the best that you can do. You've pushed forward and you put out all the stops, and it didn't bring the success and the victory. See it through to the end. Because creating a situation or putting yourself in a predicament where you are not a quitter, that you finish it to the total end, says that, okay, I've done the best that I can do. I've gotten that done. But what I've learned is how to transgress or triumph. That's a better word. Triumph against mistakes, issues, all the things that really, honestly, truthfully told, how to learn how to navigate yourself. See, the only thing that should cause for failure, or the only thing that is a cause for failure, is failure. Once you've gotten past fear, once you've gotten past, other people's comments and feelings about your situation and your ideas and your project, once you've gotten past being lazy, once you've gotten past, not being fulfilled immediately by whatever you're doing, not having success and victory and everybody screaming your name, the lights, the camera, the action, or whatever, once you've gotten past all of that, once you've pushed past you, and once you've learned how to fail, that kind of stuff can't never hurt you no more. Now, you step into the next project, the next idea, with so much strength that you will do better at that project than the one before. See, the only thing that you're out here competing with, you guys, is yourself. The only thing that you have to learn up against or battle or beat is you. Every project, every business, every opportunity is a time and space for you to be the better version of you. And so if you don't learn anything else, if you don't gain monetary abundance, if you don't gain success and victory, if you don't gain, people screaming your name, what you will have gained in finishing a project or a business to the end is success against yourself. And I promise you'll be a better person on the other end of it. It's inevitable. Now, I've talked your ear off for long enough. Bye for now.